41 years of my life, I was afraid of pretty much everything. I was afraid if I got a real job, I'd end up like my workaholic father, and that if I quit, I'd end up like my alcoholic mother. I was afraid that if I got married, things would end badly. And when it became clear that that's what was going to happen, I was afraid if I left first, everyone would blame me, which they did. I was afraid that the next guy that I dated, who was 12 years my junior, bright move on my part, would eventually dump me, and when he did, I was afraid that I would end up alone, old, sick, destitute, pushing all my belongings in a shopping cart. I could go on, but suffice to say that for the first 41 years, my life was ruled by fear. Until the fall of 2002, when I was hospitalized for 11 days with a severe onset of Crohn's disease, and I had me a bloody epiphany. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure, Crohn's is one of the sexier members of the autoimmune family of diseases, characterized by fever, weight loss, inflammation, and, in my case, bloody diarrhea. Lots and lots of bloody diarrhea. I weighed 90 pounds when I entered the hospital. That's 25 less than I do right now, and I lost 2 pints of blood the hard way. The GI doctor who did my intake colonoscopy said my insides looked like raw hamburger and that I would be on serious medication for the rest of my life if I was lucky enough that they could find one that would work. The colorectal surgeon, on the other hand, said that I was going to have no luck, that I would have to have great swaths of my intestines removed, at which point he pulled up a chair and gleefully sketched for me the new rectum he was going to build me. So at this point, pretty much everything but the actual shopping cart has come true. I am old and alone. The only man in my life is the world's most cheerful orderly who is sifting through my bloody poop 4 feet from my hospital bed. Meanwhile, everyone that I have come up with is on their way to fame and fortune. This is just a representative sample. They're all writing for and acting on national TV, while I have only another episode of Murder, She Wrote, to look forward to, and, I don't know, maybe a new asshole. If ever there was a time to be afraid, this was it. And yet, I wasn't. Because somehow I realized in this moment that while I was sick, and I was very sick in this hospital bed, I was alive, I wasn't dead. And I was in a hospital, and people were taking care of me, and I was incredibly grateful. And as this feeling washed over me, all of a sudden the room filled with white light. And it was like a giant hand made of white light scooped me up and held me, only it wasn't light and it wasn't God. It was love. And it was everywhere. In everything. It was like a veil fell from my eyes, and I could see that the whole world, me, everything in it, that orderly, we were all just love that we couldn't see, because usually we were so preoccupied with being skin and bones. And as I was basking in this wonderful feeling of love and thinking, oh my God, how long do I get to stay in this? Of course, you know, immediately I wake up and I'm back in the hospital bed, sick again. So, I know what you're thinking now. Blah, blah, epiphany, blah, blah, white light, blah, blah, near-death experience coming back now to tell us how we should live our lives. Only I'm not, because I don't know how to live my life, much less yours. I am still ruled by fear, but not exactly, because I am afraid, but I don't let it stop me. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about all this stuff, and I figured out a few things which might be helpful, so I'm going to share them with you now. The first thing is, as much as possible, stay in the here and now, like a baby or a dog. Because fear, it lives in the future. And in the past, it's just full of melancholy. As much as you can stay in the here and now, that's a good thing. The other thing is, if you can, get yourself a dog. Closest thing I've ever felt to that feeling of unalloyed love is in the presence of Arno J. McScruff, Esquire. And finally, whatever happiness means to you, please go out and go after it. Because life, like bloody epiphanies and Ignite presentations, is over sooner than you think. Thank you.